Wow.
Well, you were the inspiration today.
Yeah, you. Hey, I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name's Art Morales, and it's just a blessing. And we're all going to go on a little bit of an adventure today because we're going to actually trust in the divine. It's funny, we talk a good game, but actually doing that whole part of trusting the divine gets a little scary. And so, just to kind of clue in Buster once, he's okay. Buster's like, Dad. Okay, so, you know, a lot of times people fret and wring your hands over what we're going to do and how we're going to say it. And I think our email exchange was like a sentence.
Yes.
It was basically, you know, been taught, you know, I was told, you know, Natalie's going to be providing music. Get in touch with her with what songs you want for your message. And then it was basically trust the divine, just do what Spirit tells you because it's going to be perfect. And it is. And pretty much my whole presentation could kind of go down to trust the divine, it's perfect, just got to see it. Oftentimes that's a challenge though, because we're operating through a lot of paradigms. This presentation that you're going to see today is, this is the first time I've been through it. Why? Because it's not about me. It's not about my style or what I do or how I say it. It's about surrendering to the divine and allowing that to manifest in our lives. So when Julie called, you know, or she sent me my message about, so what's your message going to be? I'm doing stuff at work. And so I check in with the Spirit and, you know, Spirit says transformation in 3 easy steps. I'm like, okay, transformation in 3 easy steps. I texted it to her. And then I sat down and I went, what? Transformation, 3 easy steps. There's books and volumes about all this. 3 easy steps, really? And so then what I started doing was walking around and listening. Now, that's how it works in our lives. You walk around and you listen. And your higher self will be pointing things out as things show up. So let's go to the first slide, Tony. So really, activating your transformation button in 3 easy steps, really. Okay, and so thought I'd throw an easy button in there. All right, next one. So you know I'd like to start with comics. Some of you can't read the back, and Dilbert, he says, Dilbert, I want you to audit the software we have on our systems. Dilbert asks, why? So we know what we have. Who will use this information? It's just important to have. It'll be out of date before I'm even done. Do your best. The best way to complete inaccurate information that no one wants is to make it up. I hope no one, and the boss is going, I hope no one ever comes here to learn our best practices. But if you think about it, the best practice, I'm going to take his leash off because he's going to trip me here. Okay. Go give love. Okay. But you think about that, you know, we make it up. And then when we are auditing our lives, we wonder why it's showing up the way it does. But we don't ever ask ourselves the question, what did I make up? And the reason for that is because that's really a hard question, because there's a lot of ownership in that answer. And so we try to externalize that. Ancient Israel used to have a practice where you all heard the term scapegoat, right? And so everything bad that had happened to them, they would get this goat, this poor little goat, and they'd say, it's your fault. And they would put everything on the goat. Kind of sounds ludicrous, but somebody thought it was a good idea at the time. And they put all this stuff on the goat, and my bad luck, and my life, and my accidents, and my failures, it's all you. And then they would run the goat out of the town. You know, it worked out pretty good for the goat, if you really think about it, because you sat there, people made noise that you had no understanding, and then they set you free. You know, but if you look at it in life, we try to project that onto other things. So if we're going to talk about transformation and engaging that in 3 easy steps, we're going to have a courageous introspection. It takes courage to live. It takes courage to live powerfully. And we have everything we need. Okay, so when we enjoy the opportunity to come to this dimension, this planet, and live our lives, we make sure that everything that we need will be here. And if you notice, we all showed up naked. So it wasn't external stuff. It was stuff in here and stuff in here. And that's what we're going to talk about first. So let's go to the next step, or next slide. So step one of the three is internalize. Stop looking for the solution to your problem, to your challenge outside of yourself. Because the kingdom of heaven is within you. Yeshua ben Joseph said that, the Christed one. Christ consciousness is God consciousness. So if he had one thing to say in those efforts he was making, it's the kingdom of heaven is within you. So whenever we start out on this journey of transformation, we have to understand that we are not at the effect of something outside of us. God is mad at me. God is punishing me. God is challenging me. God is testing me. God is discovering. Well, you realize that then, if you look at that honestly, that means that God doesn't know a lot of stuff. And that makes you the lab rat to determine and discover all the stuff that God doesn't know. Well, we know that that's not true, because all knowledge, all goodness, all experience is God. God is all things, through all things, in all things, and that includes us. So everything's there. So there's not this outside force that's working on you. It's all within. So for transformation to be effective, it needs to be begun from within. Who's confining you then? Okay? So who's confining us? Us. We are. Now, see, one thing that I am passionate about is human transformation, human ascension, human awakening. Waking up from the dream that we are less than we are. That we are powerless. That we are victims. Victims of circumstance. All that other stuff. The truth, and that's why I'm here to declare, that truth is the power is within you. So the first step in the three-step transformation process is internalizing, understanding it's within. And so that God within you is your partner. God within me speaks now. Some people at one time would have said, that's audacious, that's blasphemous. Why? Because then that gave us power and took it away from the people who really wanted it. Okay? Those days are gone now. The truth is, you have the power of the divine, limitless, glorious, filled with light within you. All the knowledge of the universe we can tap into at any time. Now people are like, well, maybe some people who are gifted. See, we always go back to that construct that we have, that idea that things have to appear a certain way. Because we have all this programming, a lot of stuff, commercials, things that we watch on TV. The messaging has been constant since we've been little about that limited power that we have. I'm here to tell you that that power, that amazing God divinity is within you. So step one is we internalize. Let's go next one, Tony. Step two, aim for your intention. Okay? Aim for your intention. That's important. And we're going to see how we don't aim a lot of the time. All right? So this picture isn't my fault. Your intention oftentimes is unknown to you. Okay? That intention is a mystery. And here's what happened. And I'm going to tell you a story because we all live by stories in our brains. But your story goes something like this. You're this wonderful little child, come to this dimension, this planet, to experience, to grow, and create possibility. And you're open. You're open. You're like a journal that's open with blank pages. And you spill your milk. Maybe you spill it for the third time that day. And mom and dad go, "What is wrong with you? Can't you figure it out? If you are careless, you're going to knock your milk over. Doggone it. Sometimes you're so challenging. You can be so hard." You know, and then you do it again. "Are you dumb?" Now, these are all conversations that we might not remember. But I guarantee you, from that time, because those pages were open, little kids are full of emotion. The pages are blank, and that thing gets scribbled in one of your first pages, and every sentence after that has the beginning of that first phrase. What's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. We're not able to do that. Society is against us. All these stories that are underlying the reality that we're dragging around all of our lives. Maybe mom and dad had a sibling that they treated better than you. Oh, that goes back to "I'm not good enough." But see, every sentence after that has its root in that first sentence that you put in your little blank journal. Okay? And so when we look for our intention, we have to delete, and it's hard because we've got a lot of roots around that original targeting kind of language. Let's go to the next one, Tony. So when I say aim, we have to use emotion. You see, that first thing that you grabbed as a little child was coupled with innocence and pure emotion. Pure emotion. Fear. Let me tell you, you want to propel a creation, a manifestation in your life, create it in fear. Problem is, when you are in fear, you are out of your mind. You're total gross insane. I've had people in fear forget their kids' names. I've had people in fear run out of a house on fire and leave the whole family behind. The rational mind wouldn't do that. I've had people in fear have a car accident, car, wrecks, they get out and they run away. So afraid of what happened. That fear it's one of those things in that emotion that when we create with fear, we miss the mark. Sin, the word sin, is an archery term. You want that? You want this little deal here? Sin is an archery term, which means you didn't hit the bullseye. This is a great representation of life because all the things that we try to do in life that we throw our intention toward leave a mark. They leave a little hole in the target. And we judge ourselves because we say, well, somebody comes up and says, well, you sinned. You're a sinner. Okay. Anybody here a sinner? Yeah, I've missed the target. Okay. But that doesn't mean anything. See, but what it did was that sentence, that kind of a phrase coupled with emotion is like a yoke around your neck. Oh, well, you could do great things, but you're a sinner. And we're going to build a construct where everybody is the sinner except for one person. And that one person did it all right and will save everybody else. When in reality, that one person, Yeshua ben Joseph, the Christed one, was trying to tell us, hey, kingdom of heaven's within you. Nobody can take it away from you. You're all at that and more. He said, everything that you've seen me do, you can do and more. You can tell that mountain to move from there over to there, and it will be done. Now, I want to talk to us about the mountains in our lives. The mountains that we think are immovable. It starts with the consciousness, one, that the power is within you, and then taking aim. When you're creating and transforming, how does it feel is an important question to ask yourself. How does it feel? When you want, when you're desirous to create love in your life, and you base that creation of love in your life on the only experiences of love that you've had in your life, you observed it on the TV, maybe in a movie, but there's no feeling. The feeling that you have is maybe a distorted kind of love that we've had in our families. And then it manifests as that again and again. It's because we are not focusing with clarity on what that actually looks like, what it actually is. Let's go to the next one, Tony. So, in life, there's a phrase, even the blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then. We hit the bullseye. Boom, got the right person because we had a clarity, but we didn't know we had a clarity. And the thing shows up just right. More often than not, and this is for Science of Mind folks, we are precise but not accurate. You see, a lot of times discussion is about prosperity, about money, about having stuff. Thing is, when you leave here, none of that stuff goes with you. And so we get really good at manifesting parking spaces, checks that come in out of nowhere. But is that the divine? You see, we're back into the construct of I need stuff because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't have the stuff. Do you see how tweaked that is? And we keep dragging that around and we're going, well, gee, why do I have to keep manifesting stuff? There was an interesting experiment that was done where, and a lot of you participated in that probably, where we had that massive global meditation on love and consciousness and peace. Anyone remember that? Okay? And how there's data, how crime stopped and it went down. There was even a case where there were fighter jets on their way to Syria and somebody called them back and they couldn't understand why. Amazing. But then there's this question about, well, that was amazing, that was wonderful. And then when we stop meditating, why does it go back to the way it did? Anybody have any idea why it went back? Thoughts? Conscious, because we thought it would.
Because we said so.
Yeah, we said so. We're going to meditate for this hour to give world peace. And then, when we stop meditating, it'll probably go back. Because we expected it. See, ascension and transformation is a continuous process of being the thing that you desire. You transform into that. You're not an actor where you're going, I'm playing the role, and now when no one's looking, I'm going to get out of my costume, and this is who I really am. And we all know that we play that game with ourselves. Oh, well, that's so-and-so because they have the gift. We come up with all of the excuses. Okay? Accurate and precise is our goal. We clearly see what our intention is. And our focus is on that point. I'm an archer. And I can tell you that if I try to let the arrow fly based solely on mechanics, I won't do so well. For me, I have to feel it. So as I'm back at full draw, the mechanics are there, but the release, isn't that interesting? Release, when we talk about in life, releasing, letting go. Imagine, so we have all these creations, all this possibility, and we're holding the arrow back, and we're shaken, but we have to let it go. That's how it works. And when you let it go, you see where it landed. See, life is a series of discoveries. It's amazing. It's wonderful. We love it this way. And we hate it this way. Okay? But that discovery does manifest. And we look and we see where the arrow landed. Now, here's a trick, and I'm going to invite you to just give it a whirl here. don't judge yourself if you miss. Okay? You just missed. And in the moment immediately following that release of the arrow, you have the ability to pull another arrow out and put another shot down. See, everybody thinks, I just have one arrow. And you don't. How many do you have?
Unlimited.
You're limitless. Hey, doesn't that sound kind of like the divine?
Yes.
See, the divine is limitless. Okay? Now, folks in life that they're coming in and they're, no, Terry, my life just doesn't work out. Not accurate or precise. I'm not judging. Just understand they're not aware of what they're creating, and they're actually hitting exactly what they're aiming at. Is that bad? No. See, we don't, the whole thing is we try to put everything in these little boxes of, well, then that means. Let go of it means. All it is that is there. Let's change it. Reach into your basket of infinite arrows and knock another one. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Step 3, move out of the way. You see, we've internalized, we recognize that, the divine, okay, is within us. I am the source of all of my grief and all of my joy, all the blessings, and I'm in this divine partnership with higher self, with the divine that higher self sees prime creator every day, living in that excellence, in that light, in that love, and in that joy. But what happens is, how many times do we pull the arrow back and then run down as soon as we let go and stand in front of the target? Okay, we get in our own way with all the justification. It goes back to that childhood discussion that we had. Yes, I could do that, but this, fill in the blank. Okay, so there's nothing between you and your transformation except for you. There is no outside force trying to sabotage the game, sitting in the shadows, chuckling, laughing because you failed again. Okay? Think about that. Think about how odd that would be, that there's this other force out there trying to counter Prime Creator while Prime Creator is keeping it alive, while it's countering Prime Creator while Prime Creator keeps alive. It's a silly circle. But we're constantly, people don't understand that in those misguided arrows, like I had a little bit before, they create possibilities of these things that scare us. And we look for evidence for those things that scare us because we're going back into fear. And we are really good at creating while we're in fear. And we reach back when your absolute power is in this moment. See, I understand that. And I think if there's something that I've learned to embrace, it's being in the moment. Because I understand that there is enough in every little moment, every grain of sand moment, than I can handle. And so I want to use that moment and be attentive to that moment. Because if I'm looking to the past, I miss a moment. If I'm looking to the future, I miss a moment. The moment is right here. But being fully invested in that gives us that, or enables our power, because that is where we have that ability to manifest as a divine. Okay? So you're not at the effect of anything outside of you. This is a Eckhart Tolle quote, said, the awakening of consciousness is the next evolutionary step for mankind. Do you want to see how far we've come? Watch a movie from the 70s. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be facetious. Watch a movie from the 70s. We look like cavemen. Really. It's true. We're all hairy and we look like cavemen. And then watch a movie from the 80s. We're changing. We've come out of that. We got a little more swag. Okay? A little bit of a different deal. Okay, not so sure about the high-waisted pants. Okay, big hair. Okay, who had big hair in the 80s? Yeah? Big shoulders? Yeah, our shoulders are this wide. Okay? Ideas of the future. And then the 90s come. And it's an interesting thing because in the 90s, consciousness starts to really expand. Rhonda's reading a series of books right now. And Barbara Marciniak, anybody familiar with her? She does a lot of channeling of Pleiadian communication. And for some of you that are going, what? Pleiadians? Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, the thing is, the Pleiadians were talking about possibility in consciousness that in the 90s looked like levitation looks to us now. And here's the thing, here we are, 2018, and we are that. We didn't even know it. Our consciousness is moving along, it's opening. And that's why we're having this discussion now, because that transformation, that consciousness is critical for the advancement of our species. We've been asleep for a long time. We can go, we can look at the Mayan calendar, we can say, well, 2012, and we all went to 2012 and nothing happened. But something did happen. There was a critical shift in consciousness. Something started turning on. People don't realize we get gamma rays from the Pleiadian constellation almost every day. And those affect our expansion. Physicists are learning now that this whole hologram is activated by DNA. They can take your DNA, yours, any person's, take that DNA, a little petri dish, keep it alive, take it to the opposite side of the planet, show you a shocking image here in Colorado, and that DNA on the other side of the planet at the exact same moment, not affected by time or distance, responds to that stimulus. Matter, you take human DNA, introduce it into the presence of physics activities. Where we were showering electrons against the wall, and we expected them to form a pattern through slits, okay? And it did it. And then we all said, yeah, we were right. And then we left. No DNA in the room, camera still going. And the pattern went to a random chaos pattern. The human beings show up, the DNA shows up again, back into lines. Everything here is engineered for the presence of these divine beings to be in place to shift the reality. It's all right there. It's amazing. So that's why we want to get out of the way. Let it happen. Okay, let's go to the next one. So, these three things, okay, internalize, okay, what does A stand for? Aim. M, move out of the way, forms I am. Okay? I am. This is the kind of stuff that shows up when you get out of your way and you let the divine, it's funny. Yesterday I did some spiritual work on some of the plateaus here in town, and Rhonda is so generous. She says, "Hey, I'm going to get out your hair so you can prepare your presentation," and so she did that because her father was a Methodist minister, and so a lot of preparation, a lot of stuff. And so I said, "Okay, great." And so I'm watching a movie, and so I'm sitting there watching the movie. And then I check in the spirit. It's like, is it time yet? And it's like, no, why don't you go work out? Okay, let's go work out. And then got home, and it's like, is it time now? No, okay, let's go to the party. We went to a party. And then it's at that party, you get the tap on the shoulder. Okay, it's time. Go, went home. and sat down. Put my headphones on for frequency alignment and started putting things together. And it wasn't about me. Are you getting that? It's releasing and surrendering to divine, just like Natalie does. And that voice and then that touching, and it's just like everyone can do that. Okay? I am is how the divine told Moses. And I don't think that was prime creator. But nonetheless, when Moses went to Pharaoh and says, who shall I say sent me? Say, I am sent you. Think about the power of that statement. Okay? I am is an arrow pulled back. I am is that. What you attach to it is letting go. So think about our languaging for a sec. I am tired. I am sick. I am sick and tired. Okay? Okay? I am so frustrated. Now think about this. You're a divine creator, and you say, I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired. The universe says, aye, aye, Captain. And you get more stuff that gives you a reason to be sick and tired. Why? Because you just created, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay, here's more. I can't believe all of this is happening. This is horrible. Copy, horrible. You're just pulling these arrows out and shooting them out, and they're showing up. But then we make a judgment in our life because we have all these missed arrows, and we go, I'm a sinner. I'm no good at this. And that's why that clear intention is so important. Okay? I am is critical. And what this means is becoming aware of your languaging, of our languaging. When we say, I want to be happy, is happy possible? No. Wanting happy is possible. So which means you can't be happy because that would defeat wanting happy. Got it? And so that's why it's important to say, I am happy. I am blessed. If you say, I want to be blessed, will you be blessed? No. And we get frustrated. We go, but wait, I want to be blessed. And the universe is going, God, you make me crazy. Right?
Yes.
Okay? I am blessed. I am. And see, our acronym, we go back to that. 3 easy steps. Okay? Internalizing, aiming, moving out of the way. All right? Let's go to the next one. So what? What matters? Your language. What are you saying? The reason people are waking is because they have finally stopped agreeing to the things that insult their soul. Woo! Woo! Can you feel that?
Yes.
Stop agreeing to the stuff that insults your soul. Because your soul knows you. You know you. You are joy, you are light, you are love, you are compassion, you are truth. So much, so much. Okay? So your language matters. Next, please, Tony. So I am, there again, all these expressions. We can put your face in there. Right? I am so mad. I'm so happy. Okay? I'm amazed in the wonder. Think about that. I'm amazed in the wonder of life. What do you think you're going to get? Amazing wonder of life. And let me tell you, that's a lot of fun. There used to be a time where when, you do that introspection and you go back to the 80s and the 90s like we talked about, and you think about what you used to think about then. And you would think about, wow, that would really be cool. Because I remember going and seeing something like Lord of the Rings. You go, man, it would have been great if there was magic again in the world. Too bad there's not. But then you realize and you start evolving, you go, holy cow, there's magic everywhere. There's angels everywhere. There's light everywhere. There's love everywhere. There's planetary interaction everywhere. This is huge. It's pretty fun stuff. Magic. Next one, please. So here we go again. Tell that I'm a public educator. Okay? So what am I doing? Bringing it in full circle here. We're in the home stretch. So we're internalizing it. Aim for your intention with feeling. Okay? Natalie, when people sing without feeling, that's just a drag. I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, it's just, Jesus loves me, yes, I know. The Bible tells me so. Yeah, see? Move out of your way. Embrace it. Take the leap. It's fun. Okay, let's go to our next one. So, here's the tough question. Why do we want to do this? Besides all the benefits of living in joy and love and magic and happiness and all those things, changing the world, shifting consciousness, this is me being a little bit selfish. I want our planet to transform. I want us to stop living third dimension reality, cause and effect, and go to a dimension where there's possibility. And that's all mind consciousness shifting. I think that would really be nice to live in a world where that concept of war, you have to look it up in some dusty book somewhere. There's lots of books on love and ascension and creation and manifestation. Hatred, what does that mean? There's cultures on the planet that don't have a word for hatred. Primitive, because they haven't had the rest of the contamination. So, I want to talk about the 100th monkey effect. All right? Some people don't know about it. This captures it in a short statement. The 100th monkey effect is a phenomenon in which a new behavior or idea is spread rapidly by unexplained means. From one group to all related groups, regardless of geographic location, once a critical number is reached. Don't give up. You just might be that monkey. This is quantum physics. This isn't a theory. It has been quantified. This old monkey here is washing a coconut. See, monkeys they learned that if they stood by the water, the coconuts that fell off of trees and washed up, they would wash up on the shore. They didn't have to climb up to get them, so they waited. And then when the coconuts came in, they took them over to the rocks and cracked them open. That was another 100th monkey thing, because monkeys all over the world do that. But that one monkey figured out that if he walks over with that coconut that's just busted open and washes it in the water, he doesn't have to have sand in it. Now this might seem insignificant, but this particular monkey lived on a very isolated island. And so the other monkey was watching and said, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm going to wash my coconut. And then pretty soon, the monkeys on that island were all washing their coconuts. Now here's where it gets freaky. Because the monkeys on the other island, or islands, all started washing their coconuts. So think about that. So if we're talking about ascension, manifestation, transformation, it needs all of us. We just had our 8 billionth person born yesterday. Okay? 8 billion. It takes about 1/100th of 1% of that 8 billion to shift the consciousness for the rest of them. So we're talking about 8 million people. So hopefully we have a room full of shifted possibility consciousness right here.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And that's how we're going to change our world. We don't change it by waving signs around, getting mad, posting mean things. We change it in here. Because where's the kingdom of heaven? Within us. Let's be that 100th monkey. Or you're going to talk to that 100th monkey, and it's going to happen. Okay, I think that's my last one. Let's see if we've got anything else on it, Tony. I don't think so. Oh, yeah, got that one. So, our intention creates our reality. We are powerful beyond measure. And just keep coming home to yourself. You're the one you have been waiting for. Like you, love you. Start by liking you if you're not. Some people don't. That's a tough one. but then take liking to a kind of an interesting fascination with you. This isn't egoism. Understand, you know, the human species loves to surrender to this thing called ego. I'm more spiritual than you. I'm more enlightened than you. Isn't that kind of silly? I mean, it's like an oxymoron, you know? And so, embrace yourself. You are within you, the kingdom of heaven, the one that you're waiting for. Let's pray. Just standing here now, taking a breath. The divine is here. I am in the presence of the divine. Every single being here. A manifestation in her way of being that divine, holy, sacred gift. Wow. And I know that in that divine, sacred oneness, that divine union, this planet, this town, this universe is blessed because we are here now. It is good. Life is good. God is good. God within us is good. We are that. We are joy, we are love, we are light. We are compassion. And this week as we go forward, everywhere we go, every smile we give, every loving glance, every act of compassion, every act of service and kindness serves to raise the consciousness, the vibration of this planet. That we go forward and we transform, we elevate. We are light and we are love. We are a family of light and of love. And I know that this is so. I know that this is the divine working through every single one of us. I claim it, I accept it, and I release it to all of us. And together we claim it by saying, and so it is.